The author of Matthew tells us that Herod, a Roman client king, committed a horrifying genocide and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof from 2 years and under. Folks, this is a ludicrous accusation, even for a tyrant king. There are great volumes of literature about Herod, including many critics who did not like him, and no records of this event exist outside of Matthew. Even the famous historian Josephus fails to mention this story in his detailed account of Jewish histories, the Antiquities of the Jews. Even though he reports on Herod's great cruelties, including the murder of his own family members. The fact that this shocking genocide in Matthew does not show up anywhere else in history is powerful evidence that the author of Matthew completely fabricated a false narrative. Christian apologists do realize a problem here and will attempt to downplay this story by saying, at that time, Jerusalem was really just a one-horse town. They will say, the reason it didn't make the Roman headline news is because only a handful of kids were killed. Well, I did my homework, and Jerusalem was a flourishing, renowned city known as the City of David, and was a major hub for trading routes. Many thousands of children would have been murdered by King Herod had this story been true. Not only does this author say that every child born within the city was killed, but he even extends the reach by saying all of the coasts thereof. The Gospels love to pump up their stories with grandeur. This tall tale remains one of the strongest cases for deceptive fabrication to be found within the New Testament. Not only is the author of Matthew clearly fabricating or spreading a tall tale, but he takes it even a step further into deception by altering Old Testament scripture in order to spin this story into a prophetic fulfillment claim. The author of Matthew refers us to a scripture found in the Old Testament book Jeremiah. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, In Ramah was there a voice heard, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not. However, when we read this actual passage in Jeremiah, we discover Matthew's cunning deception. In Jeremiah, it actually reads, Rachel, weeping for her children, refuses to be comforted for her children because they were not. The author of Matthew changed Jeremiah's scripture because they were not into Matthew's they are not. Why would Matthew's author change this wording? Matthew takes this passage out of context and reworks it to mean something different. He wants us to believe that this text is referring to children that are dead, so as to fit with his Herod story by changing it to are not. In Jeremiah, the prophet is speaking about children who did not die. If we continue to read in Jeremiah, we will discover that Rachel was not weeping over dead children, but for children taken into exile. The author of Matthew also writes, So he got up, took the child and his mother during the night, and left for Egypt, where he stayed until the death of Herod. And so was fulfilled what the Lord had said through the prophet, Out of Egypt I called my son. However, scrolling back to the original text found in Hosea, that passage reads, When Israel was a child, I loved him, and out of Egypt I called my son. Matthew's author cut out the first part of this sentence. In context, this verse is not talking about a future Messiah, but specifically speaks of Moses leading Israel out of slavery from Egypt. Shouldn't such deceptive practices render all of the stories suspect? How much trust should we put into the historicity of these books?
I don't believe in masquerades. I don't believe that you're okay. I don't believe that...
Hello, friends. Please help me grow this page by becoming a subscriber and clicking the support button right down below if you're watching on Facebook. Or go to patreon.com/Stairway to Reason and sign up, become a member for as little as $1 a month. And if you don't like subscribing and signing up for things, I have a PayPal where you can make reoccurring monthly donations for as little as $1. It's safe, fast, and super easy. Just ask for my PayPal link in the comments below. Thank you so much, my friends, and stay strong and wise.
I don't believe